User-initiated manual failover allows users to manually trigger a failover on Azure SQL Managed Instance using PowerShell or CLI commands or through invoking an API call. Manually initiated failover on a managed instance will be an equivalent of the automated failover of high availability and software patches initiated automatically by the service. The functionality will allow you to test your application end to end for transient errors, faulty resiliency on automatic failovers in case of planned or unplanned events before deploying to production. In addition to testing how failover impacts existing database sessions, it can also help verify if it changes the end-to-end performance due to changes in network latency. In some cases, if performance issues are encountered on SQLMI, manually invoking a failover to a new node can help mitigate the performance issue. This is the main reason why at least I use this user-initiated manual failover. There are scenarios where I have worked with the customer, and in case there is a severe performance issue on the managed instance, then what we basically do is like we try performing an user-initiated manual failover, and that basically like fails over to a different node. That way, the customer might get temporary relief. That is something that we can definitely do, and that is going to help us to a greater extent. So let's check the high availability architecture for both business critical and general purpose Azure managed instance. So as far as the HA for SQL managed instance business critical service tier is built based on always on availability group technology, resulting in MI consisting of total of 4 nodes, that is one primary and then three secondary read-only replicas. In case of a failover, one of the secondary replica becomes primary, and this type of failover typically takes close to like a few seconds, to be frank, as far as business critical managed instance is concerned. So what happens is like if you look at the diagram here, so we have a primary replica and then three secondary replica, and when we do a failover, it basically fails over to an existing secondary replica, and that is how the failover as far as business critical is concerned. And as far as the HA for general purpose managed instance service tier is based on multiple redundancy of the storage layer, and it is based on a single primary node. So in case of a failover, a new node is taken from the pool of standby nodes, and the storage is reattached from the old to the new primary node. So this type of failover typically takes close to a minute. So basically the difference between business critical and general purpose managed instance is basically like with the business critical, we have this always on availability group between 4 nodes, that is one primary and then three secondary replica. And as far as general purpose is concerned, it is basically like a new node is kind of taken from the pool of standby nodes. So that's the difference. So when we do the failover for the business critical managed instance, when we look at the DMV called sys.dm underscore hadr underscore fabric underscore replica states, what it shows is like it shows close to like 4 nodes. That is, as I told you earlier, business critical is going to have 4 nodes, one primary and three secondary. And what happens is like if you execute this particular DMV before the user-initiated manual failover, you will see that the primary node is a different IP address. And then after you complete the failover and then execute the same DMV, you will be able to see that the IP address has changed to other node, which signifies like the failover is completed. So this is something that can be used to check for the failover as far as business critical managed instance is concerned. And for general purpose, since it is going to be one node. So what we will do is like we will first check this query and get the last restart time of the SQL Server. So in my case, it is like today, that is 6 November 2022, around 4:52. That is when this was last restarted. So what we'll do now is like we will perform a restart. That is basically we will perform an user-initiated manual failover on a general purpose managed instance, which is jp-dist-mi-pra-si. So check that again. So if we see here, we are on the primary instance, which is jb-dist-mi-pra-si managed instance, and let me execute the query again. So it is the SQL start time is this one right now. So what I'll do is like let me click on the Cloud Shell, and I'm going to invoke a PowerShell command to basically do an local failover. So the query that I'm going to use is like invoke AZSQL instance failover. Resource group name is this one, and the managed instance name is this one. So you just need to press an enter here. It's going to take some time, maybe like a couple of minutes or below that. And once that is done, we will check the SQL Server restart time. And that is going to be like close to the time that right now, whatever we have. So let's wait for it to complete. Okay, so the failover is completed now. So let's go back to the managed instance. So we know that the restart of the SQL Server prior to this was around 4:52 p.m. So let's execute this query. Let's execute it. So if we can see here, previously it was 4:52 p.m. and now it is 9:13 p.m. So the time right now is 9:15 p.m. So this is how you basically perform a user-initiated manual failover. And also, like one thing to keep in mind is like as far as the business critical managed instance is concerned, we will be using this particular DMV. And as I told you earlier, before the user initiated failover, you will check, and the primary replica would be a different node. That is, the IP address would be different. And after it, you will be able to see that, and it will change to a different IP address. And that way, you will be able to understand that. That the failover is completed. So that is for the business critical managed instance. And also like one important thing to keep in mind is like you can initiate one failover on the same MI every 15 minutes. So you cannot restart it right away after you have restarted it. This is to make sure like we are not using it in a wrong way. So basically, like you fail over an MI, you will basically have to wait for close to 15 to 30 minutes for that to, if you want to do it again. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Jai Hind.